How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael SK, and welcome back to the Eden of Grisaia. So in the last episode, Thanatos got in contact with both the principal and JB. Apparently they are going to be involved in the operation in some sort of way, or at least we know JB will. And I guess the principal was contacted about a possible new site for the school, because that's still important. And now it is Operation Day, finally. The girls are getting ready. It's like 6:30 in the morning. And since they're all up, Thanatos is now contacting them. So, let us see what good old Thanatos has to say.
Ohayo, Charlie!
誰がチャーリーよ。
あれ？ジムの方？フェルペス君？
それを言うならフェルプスでしょ。まあいいわ。和やかな朝食中に失礼かとも思ったのだけれど、榊由美子が大切なことを伝え忘れているようだから、あえてインタラプトさせてもらいます。
That's right, they were going over what their missions were for the operation, what exactly they were supposed to do. Sakaki was going through and making sure everyone knew what they were supposed to do, but apparently she's forgotten something.
そっか。
And now she remembered.
これからの作戦行動は各自別行動となります。各実動においては電話で通信を行うわけですが、それに伴い各自のコールサインを決めてください。
コールサイン？
要は限定された範囲でのみ通用する別名のことよ。
でもタナトス号なら通信は傍受されないんじゃないの？
その通り。でも電話を使用するときは喋るでしょ。声に出す以上はどこで誰に聞かれるかわからないし、うかつにも音声をマイクで拾われてしまえば筒抜けです。というわけで本日午前8時の作戦開始と同時に各自は決められた呼び出し名称を使うこと。
Ah, perfect. Meikyuu can go by dumbass. That's pretty vague.
ほほう。コールサインというとマーベリックとかグースとかそんなやつな。
名前の付け方に特別なルールはないけれど、フォネティックコードと誤認しやすい名前は避けること。各自が当人を認識しやすい名前にしておくといいわ。あまり突飛な名前をつけると、これ誰だっけってなるから。
ほんま、わかりやすい名前か。
We can go by...
チルチルはうざつんでれか？
Oh my god, did I actually predict something that someone would suggest? Oh my god. I would say go by the hair color. I mean, that's all pretty different among them. Amane's got the pinkish purple, whatever you want to call it. Makina's got the brown. Meikyuu is obviously the blonde. Takaki's got the black. And Sachi's got the pink. I mean, you can go by that. Once you state the color, you can picture their face in your head really fast.
ちょっと、何よそれ。長くて呼びにくいじゃないのよ。
Oh, I wonder.
うざくないし。
I wonder. じゃあ、
短くしてうざでり？いやいや、さらに短く UT とするのはどうか。私が UT なら、あんたは福田抜きね。たぬき顔だし、なんかおめでたい顔してるし。福田抜きか。まあいい。確かに私は福田抜き。そのおめえ、甘んじて受け入れよう。それじゃあ私はクソメイドということで。
What the hell are with these names?
お、自虐かサッチン。
メイド道とは死ぬまで続く修行の道。何年経とうが永遠に未熟者という自戒を忘れないためだよ。
No, she continues to go above and beyond, for whatever reason at this point, to be a spectacular maid.
まあ、本人がそれでいいって言うならいいけどさ。私は？マネーはビッチでいい。
What the hell?
そのまんまだし、これ以上わかりやすいのはねえのよ。
My god! These names are all insulting!
待って、その流れでいくと私は
Loner?
ぼっち！
Oh my god! I actually called it! Guys, I swear I did not read in advance. I swear.
やっぱり予想通りすぎてヘドが出そう。
でもさ、ビッチとボッチって電話で聞き取るとき紛らわしくない？
では無駄ビッチとエバーぼっちでどうでしょう。
エヴァーはいいや。お願いだからエヴァーはやめて。
面倒だからやっぱビッチとぼっちでいいじゃん。美浜ビッチぼっちって言うとなんか若手のお笑いコンビみたいでイカすのよさ。
How sad. In many ways.
まあ私はどっちでもいいけどさ。
Wow, I guess they're actually going with it. My god. Alright. At this stage, life and death are a matter of chance. When we pray to the heavens for survival, we leave ourselves in the hands of fate. I choose instead to empty my mind and charge toward my end. A chosen death, not a fated one. Should I fall in pursuit of a noble purpose, I shall perish without regrets. Irisu Machina. As the fated hour of 8 a.m. drew near, the public reading of Machina's traditional death poem concluded, and Sachi proceeded to push Yumiko up onto the wooden box that served as their platform.
マイクです。それでは間もなく作戦開始時間となりますが、各員出陣の前に基地司令たる榊参謀司令長官のありがたいお言葉を賜りたく存じます。ではどうぞ。
いや、急にそんなことを言われても。
聞くだけでみるみる繊維が高揚する魔法のお言葉をお願いします。
Yumiko was tempted to explain that magic of that sort was generally referred to as brainwashing. But as she looked around at her comrades, she realized that this might be her final chance to express her gratitude to them. As that thought began to sink in, she could feel her hand growing sweaty on the handle of the megaphone Sachi had given her.
ただいまご紹介に預かりました榊由美子です。
Well, yeah.
ここにお集まりの皆様は容易ならざる困難に対し座して待つことを良しとしなかった方たちです。そのことに関して皆様には感謝の言葉もございません。果たして私たちの進む先に巧妙があるとも断じきれない中、己が可能性を信じて立ち上がった皆さんの勇気に微力なれども良い結果を残したいと私は考えております。はっきりと申しましょう。私たちの進む道は戦場につながっています。賛美を極め多くの困難が待ち受けるであろう戦場でこの私に一体何ができるのかと、そんな風に応納しない日はありませんでした。ことここに至り私は一人の指揮官として各員の熱意をあたら無駄に散らせることなく自分たちの行いに大義を見出さんとするよう努力する所存であります。やがては完遂されるであろう大義に燃える皆さんに少しでも明るい道先を示すのが私の仕事であり、人生を圧し犠牲を顧みぬ戦場へ皆さんを送り込んだ私の責務であります。どうか今一度志をともに私にお力をお貸しください。
Drawing her remarks to a conclusion, Yumiko bowed her head to her audience. It had started sounding a bit like an election speech by the end there. But as off-the-cuff performances went, she wanted to believe she'd done a fairly good job. I mean, I'd give her like a good 8 out of 10. That was pretty solid.
ねえ、なんか難しい言葉ばっかりでよくわかんなかったんだけど、結局何が言いたいの？
She's thankful she's gonna try her best fight.
要はこれからますますひどいことになるし、下手すりゃ死んじまうかもしれないけど、ここに集まったからにはおめえらの自己責任だから、作戦や指揮に問題があっても文句言うなよってこと。
That too.
違う。
どの国の軍にあっても召喚の口にする訓示とはそういうものです。
まあ身内に明確な矛先があった方が組織は動かしやすいって言うしね。
分かったわよ。そうやって私をいじめておけばいいじゃない。
Hey man, I liked the speech. I thought it was inspirational. No matter how small your organization might be, You always needed someone for everyone else to resent. She figured that much out by now. Eventually, the clock struck 8, and the time for fun and games had officially come to a close. After exchanging a ceremonial drink of water, the Mihama Women's Corps departed for their various posts.
みんな最後のお弁当を詰めたから一人一つずつ持ってって。
いや弁当最高。おかずは何？
マキナのリクエスト通り海苔巻きとサイダーだよ。はなんか組み合わせおかしくない？なんで海苔巻きとサイダーなの？
海軍の航空糧食といえば海苔巻きとサイダーなのよ。
Many years ago, fighter pilots apparently ate norimaki for most of their in-flight meals, since the compact rolls were easy to hold with a single gloved hand. Also, battleships technically had quite a few carbon dioxide fire extinguishers lying around, so a simple cider, easily made from sugar and CO2, was a popular beverage among Navy personnel. World War II era planes lacked sophisticated radar equipment, much less GPS systems. Navigating on long flights was a tiresome task, and mid-flight meals played a crucial role in keeping the pilots energized and focused on their mission. Perhaps Machina felt some connection to these historical events. Perhaps she just had a hankering for sushi. Either way, everyone took their lunches and headed for their posts. Some had more to lose than others. Some were anxious, while others were excited. But as they left their base behind, they held the same lunches to their chest and the same determination in their hearts. Let's do this shit, boys. Let's fucking go. Let's kick some ass and save our beloved Yuji. The Wits Marlin Hotel, Tokyo. Or Marlton, my bad. It just so happened that Machina had stayed at one of these hotels before, although it hadn't been this particular location. Back when her father was still alive, her family had usually spent their summers on the beaches of Miami, and during those trips, they'd always stayed at the local Wits Marlton. From what she remembered, it had been notable for its unnervingly well-trained employees, whose remarkable attention to detail meant that all the little things you had take for granted were always handled perfectly. Bringing her bicycle to a halt outside, Machina detached the trailer and towed it into the lobby. Approaching the front desk, she reached inside herself to call forth a talent passed down through the Irisu for generations. Namely, the ability to profoundly irritate people for no good reason at all. With a condescending, blatantly insincere smile of the sort that had become an Irisu trademark, she called out to the man behind the gleaming counter.
Yeah, ごきげんよう。
This is gonna go well.
スイーツを予約したイリスだが、部屋の用意はできているかね?
The receptionist found himself faced with a little girl, whose round face somewhat resembled that of a cartoon chipmunk. I don't think that's ever been brought up throughout the trilogy, but now it is. Or at least I don't seem to remember it ever being brought up. She wasn't wearing or carrying anything that looked particularly expensive. In fact, her outfit looked like something you could buy from a cheap boutique of the kind typically found in large malls. In this particular hotel lobby, she stood out like a sore thumb. When you combine all that with the fact that she'd barged up to the desk and demanded her room in an exceptionally haughty tone, well, 8 out of the 10 people would have reacted the way the receptionist did.
どなたか保護者の方は?
あ？私を誰だと思っている？イリス清香だぞ。こう見えても今年で38だぞ。それとも何か？ガキみたいなやつは客じゃないとでも言うつもりか？おいおいおいおい、うそだろ。天下のウィッツがまさかの人種差別か？だったらあそこのジグロの男はなぜ部屋の鍵を受け取っている？私はあいつ以下ってことか？
Whoa! What in the hell?
なんだお前、アパルトヘイト反対主義者か？だったら子供っぽいってだけで差別すんじゃねえよ、このダブスタ野郎が！
What the hell is this woman going on about? In a lobby where important people from many countries came and went, Makina was shouting accusations with all the vigor of someone trying to provoke an international incident. Understandably, the man's face went deathly pale.
申し訳ございません、お客様。どうかお気を鎮めてください。
なんだと？このイリス清香に大声を出させてるのは誰だ？
私でございます。申し訳ありません。
すぐに謝るぐらいなら最初から喧嘩を売るな。
Scowling furiously, Makina shoved her hand into her pocket and retrieved several neatly banded bundles of brand new banknotes, which she proceeded to slap down rudely on the counter in front of her.
ほれ、支払いは現金だ。多めに払ってやるから余った金でマナースクールにでも通えクズが。仕事をしろ。クビにするぞ。なめんな。清香なめんな。このビッチグソ野郎が。
Etiquette lessons, huh? Calling him a shithead. Fuck. The ranks of the wealthy included quite a number of extremely short-tempered individuals. Having learned as much from painful experience, the receptionist immediately thought of the little card he always carried with him, which described the proper mindset of a customer service professional. Think of yourself as a herbivore, and your customers as hungry carnivores. As long as you keep that up, you'll never lose your temper with them. He'd been working this job for 3 years now. He knew how to heave quiet little sighs without his customers noticing. With a few taps on the keyboard inside the front desk, he pulled up the reservation list. Sure enough, there was a luxury suite reserved in the name of Irisu Kyoka, and a red light indicated that she was a VIP client.
イリス様、大変お待たせいたしました。ただいまお部屋へご案内させていただきます。
清香苦しゅうないぞよ。
The man very nearly snorted with laughter at this attempt at pronouncing the word acceptable. Now I'm mispronouncing things. But he managed to disguise his amusement by quickly turning away to call for a porter. Hoping to quickly escort this foul-mouthed young princess out of the lobby, the porter hurried over and reached for her luggage.
おい、勝手に触るな。それは仕事道具だ。
There was honestly no telling what was going to set this woman off. Everyone on the staff had been trained to treat the most troublesome customers with particular care, but right now, they just wanted to get her into her room and out of their hair. After an agonizing 10 minutes that Irisu Kyoka spent repeating her own name, I don't need you to describe the room, don't show me the emergency exits, I'm Irisu Kyoka, they finally succeeded in showing her to her room. And what a nice room this is. When you don't want someone asking you lots of questions, make a nuisance of yourself until they leave you alone. That was something Makina's mother had told her when she was very young. Makina despised her mother intensely, and reasonably so. But when it came to manipulating other people, she had to admit her advice had some merit. After striding into her suite, she immediately kicked out the clerk who was attempting to describe it to her, and then began consuming the small basket of fruit they'd left on top of the table as a welcoming gift. It wasn't as if she was particularly hungry. The room's central table had plenty of surface area, and it was solid enough to support a person's weight. She intended to bring it over to the window and use it as a sniping platform, so she needed to clear it off first. When she'd reached out to remove the objects on top of it, however, her hands had reflexively brought the fruit to her mouth.
しょっと。
Her cheeks bulging with tart strawberries, Makina grabbed hold of the table, which was probably nearly as heavy as she was, and dragged it to the window. Placing her rifle case on top of it, she retrieved the laptop from her bag. The program, I have no idea how to pronounce that, Shimo Hai-Hai-chan, which calculated the optimal trajectory of a target based on measurements received from satellites, had been updated to version 6.04, which enabled it to connect directly to the Thanatos system. The distance to Makina's target would be about 900 meters. Her instructor, the legendary sniper Kazumi Yuji, could probably have landed a shot like this while vigorously jerking off. Yeah, maybe, and vigorously, my bad. However, Makina had never fired a real rifle before, much less experienced actual combat. For her, a long-range shot like this was an unprecedented challenge. Snapping open the fasteners on her case, she spread it out flat on the table and began removing parts of her rifle from the Velcro restraints. First, she connected the lower receiver to the bipod assembly, allowing it to stand on its own. Next, she placed the semi-auto unit, containing both the bolt and carrier mechanisms, onto the mounting rail and covered it up with the upper receiver, which she fixed in place with the mid-lock pin. All very simple. Doesn't sound like it. She didn't know how much faith she could put in a gun some old man from a racket shop had put together, but once it was fully assembled, she didn't notice any nasty rattling, and the trigger felt tight against her finger. When she pulled on the cocking handle to test out the action, the spring in the impact bumper made a grinding sound that suggested it was a bit on the cheap side, but the level of resistance itself felt pretty much perfect.
しかしこの色だけはどうにかならなかったのかね。
Well, she technically asked for pink on the next toy. Machina did like the color pink, and many of her personal possessions were some shade of it. Still, when it came to weapons, wasn't a flashy, high-visibility design basically a handicap? Kazumi Yuji might have claimed you're better off with a rifle that looks like a toy, since intimidating weapons make it harder to relax and pull the trigger gently. But this really did look like a gun made for a moron. Then again, you might make the case that Machina was, in fact, a moron. Yeah, I was gonna say, she couldn't have denied it with any real confidence.
こんなんでちゃんとやれんのかな私。
Inexperience gives rise to uncertainty. I remember this scene. From what Yuji had taught her, the maximum range at which you could rely on your rifle's power and your ammunition's sophistication was 2,000 meters. Beyond that, your experience level and dumb luck inevitably played a large role. I'm really fucking up today. Fortunately, she'd be firing at well below 2,000 meters, and she had top-notch equipment to compensate for her flaws as a sniper. But she wasn't naive enough to assume that meant everything would go smoothly. When it came to precision sniping at long range, your instincts and training were naturally very important, but you also needed to know exactly how to use the specific gear you'd be given. The slightest misalignment of a high magnification scope would throw your shots off course. A simple spike in the temperature could cause a divergence of anywhere from a few centimeters to several meters. Apart from the wind, you had to be aware of atmospheric pressure, dust particles in the air, the rotation of your bullet, and the exact bearing it would follow. Shooting guns is quite difficult, if you guys couldn't tell. Even the combustion speed of the powder needed to be accounted for. And no matter how thoroughly you inputted all this information, it was still rare for your bullets to land exactly where you anticipated. At a distance of 1,000 meters, you'd typically be off by a few meters at first.
それを経験と勘で補うのがプロの仕事か。
But Machina wasn't a pro, and according to Kazumi Yuji, that meant she had to rely on the power of her equipment. Settling her rifle on the table, she placed an optical scope equipped with an internal electronic damper in position on top of it and attached it via mount ring to the rail system, carefully adjusting the level of torque. Once it was fixed in place, she used the custom jig the old geezer from the racket store had given her to verify that she'd attached it at the correct angle and position. This would guarantee it performed just as he had intended.
用意された弾丸は6発。
If only she had more. It was tempting to complain about how stingy Thanatos had been, but that wouldn't have been remotely fair. Every one of these cartridges was essentially handmade. Both the rapid combustion powder and the hard primer inside them had been specially formulated based on the anticipated range. The bullets themselves had been polished, then blasted with fine tungsten disulfide particles, forming a special coating that would be fused to the surface of the projectile by the heat generated when they were fired. The old man had even cut subtle grooves into them that aligned with the rifling of the barrel. These would generate propulsive power from the very air the bullets cut through. Every one of these rounds was a tiny work of art. The written instructions the old man had handed her strongly emphasized that she wasn't to touch the bullets with her hands, with her bare hands. They'd been individually packed in plastic bags filled with an inert gas.
鉄砲屋もいろんなことを考えつくもんなのよさ。
Hell yeah, dude.
これで当たんなかったら私がヘボってことになっちゃうか。
Rather than brooding over her chances, she would rather have fired off a few shots and get a feel for the gun, but that obviously wasn't an option. She had to wait until the last possible moment to test fire and zero her rifle. With the weapon now fully assembled, she fixed it in position on the bipod. She'd left the bullets sealed away in their airtight packages. She wasn't planning on loading them into a magazine anyway. Why risk contact between the rim of the chamber and the tip of the rounds? This thing wasn't a real semi-automatic. Might as well load every round manually.
さて、んじゃ、ちょっくら出かけてくっかね。
For now, she wanted to focus on the tasks at hand. All that was left was an inspection of the target area, and then the installation of her monitoring equipment. Opening up her backpack, she packed in a few wind gauges, which would beam their data to her via satellite. Then added an old-fashioned analog tool, a roll of plastic packing rope. There were two potential lines of fire, and it wasn't practical to cover both with nothing but digital devices. She decided to work around that by leaving lengths of rope tied up at the halfway points between her gauges. That way, she could at least look through her scope to get a visual sense of the way the wind was moving. Once this was done, she'd spend the afternoon riding her bike around. Moving through an area gives you a very different feel for it than peering at it through a scope, and that difference can seriously affect your accuracy. Meikyuu had learned that much while simulating ultra-long-range precision sniping with her air rifle under the instruction of Kazumi Yuji. When you wanted to hit a target no bigger than a speck, even when observed through a high magnification lens, this sort of simple, scrupulous preparation was the single most crucial factor in ensuring your success. Hell yeah, dude. So who's next? Back in the day, oh yeah, this is probably Amane and Meikyuu. So we'll jump into that next time. At least we've started their operation. We're 56% done, making progress on that front. Yeah, the operation commences part 2, so pretty much everyone's getting going. Everyone's getting set up for tonight. Because tonight, baby, ooh, it's gonna get interesting. So, I will see you guys then. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and subscribe. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.